All right, man. So Teofemale Lopez says he will fight Shakur Stevenson. He's already agreed to a deal to fight Shakur Stevenson at the top of next year. Okay. So I mean, shit, that's good. You know what I mean? Like, there were some questions whether, Tio was gonna fight him. He on Aiden Ross, begging to fight on Aiden Ross card for versus civilians. It's up to Shakur to test to could actually, trust him or not. But if they got a signed contract, or he's already agreed, and I'm guessing this with Turkey, then so be it. Apparently, T.O. has ducked Richardson Hitchison. It's been quite a few guys that people wanted to see him fight. Sabril Matias went Pappy the Rapper upside his head, slapped him. He has some options. But it's a good fight. I know Kobe was like, well, he passed up all these 140 pounders, Hitchison, Sabril Matias, and he want to fight a 135 pounder, Shakur Stevenson. And all due respect, Shakur Stevenson has probably got a bigger name than all those other guys and bring more money and more high profile. You can make a case that Sabril Matias, has got the best style out of all of them. Guys like Hitchison who can hit and don't get hit and that can move. That's a problem. Matias is a guy that come right at him. Don't seem to have a pop on his punches that he once had. And he take a lot of punches. I think T.O. thrive at guys to close the gap on him. But Matias did tower over him. I think it's about time for Matias probably to move up and weight. If not, he may be, done from the amount of punishment that he takes. But I think Matias is stylistically the best fight for him. But obviously, Matias is a guy that keep coming. No Diddy, no Harvey Weinstein, no Kevin Spacey, no Kanye. He just, he's one of those relentless guys. And, T.O. ain't got the best conditioning. But still, in my opinion, I still favor Shakur Stevenson over him quite easily. I think Shakur Stevenson is just gonna box circles around him. I look at Teofemale Lopez. He hasn't really he really hasn't evolved at 140. He still treat 140 like 135, like he got a one hitter quitter. Like he ain't learned how to, really throw more than one punch at a time, and that's a problem. He's still punching with guys, one shot at a time. He ain't learned how to double, triple up, throw combinations or nothing like that. And, in my opinion, he ain't no one hitter quitter. Now, I think Shakur, and neither one of them got extremely long arms. So I think Shakur is just going to box him. He's going to have problems cutting off the ring on Shakur. Like a lot of these Hispanic fighters, they don't really jab enough, and that's a problem with cutting the ring off. When you don't use a jab, you leading off with hooks and, other shit, straight rights or whatever, your backhand. When you don't control the fighter with the jab, it's hard to when you don't use the jab, it's hard to control and put the fighter where you need to put them in, especially if they got great conditioning. The jab is really the controller. You know what I'm saying? It's like the crane on one of them trucks. You know what I'm saying? It's, where your jab is really like, it operates the crane. And, when you don't use the jab, it's hard to cut the ring off on the guy. It's hard to really, when you just leading off and you got a jab in his face, it freezes you and you able to really, it's able to distract the guy. Especially if your jab is a very, very effective jab, or it's one of them thudding hard jabs. It's hard. It's hard to, it's hard to get around it. That's why Larry Holmes and De La Hoya and Muhammad Ali and Floyd all have fantastic jabs. Foreman had one of the more famous jabs with the 1-2 that he, almost sent Michael Moore to the other realm with. That's why you throw the jab. It blinds him. It's a table holder. It's all of that. So, I mean, the jab is a problem, you know. But but yeah, you know, if he ain't gonna jab in this fight, and he ain't gonna get no lighter on his feet, you know, I mean, it's a bad matchup. Unless he catch Shakur Stevenson. That's why he didn't want to fight Devin. Devin is a little bit different though, because with Devin, you know, he got reach. So it's gonna be really hard to catch Devin. Shakur, you know, he don't have the reach, but he got the reflexes and the defense, and he's always in a position to defend. You know, that's the great thing about Shakur Stevenson. He's in a great position to defend. The problem is, you know, a guy that's gonna beat him is gonna always be in a great position to throw punches. I don't think he can outbox him. Too many people gonna outbox him. But a guy that's always in position to throw punches, that'd be Shakur Stevenson. A really great offensive fighter, you know what I'm saying, will beat Shakur Stevenson. But the problem is, it ain't too many great offensive fighters. You know, believe it or not, it don't really mean it's that many great defensive fighters. You know, I know, you know, people like, huh, you know, it don't mean it's that many great defensive fighters. Basically, what's going on is it's a lot of guys that's really incomplete. You know, all the guys throw one or two shots at a time and they reset or they get out of there or they're always in position to defend. You know, but, you know, some guys that's in position to keep going upside your motherfucking head. You know what I'm saying? And they using angles and they just throwing punches. And, you know, a lot of guys don't know how to defend against that. You know, because guess what? If you always on the defensive versus a guy with great conditioning and throwing punches, you know, sometimes you got the best defenses in offense. But I think it's one of those fights. As long as Shakur don't get caught, I don't think T.O. is going to come up with a game plan. He looks super athletic versus guys. He looks super athletic versus guys that's stiff and, you know, but you put him in there versus somebody that's athletic and that's twitchy, he can look like a fool. He's going to be behind all night. Now, if he want to win, you know, you listen to me, you got to use your jab. You got to jab, attack the body, and you got to throw punches and bunches. You got to throw combinations versus Shakur Stevenson. You got to jab the body. You got to jab in general. You got to throw punch. You got to throw multiple punches. You gonna throw one or two shots. T.O. don't got a great gas tank, and that's something that people don't talk about enough. He likes to fight at his own pace. You know, he likes to fight at his own pace. He don't throw a lot of punches. Very inactive puncher. You know, so I just think Shakur, as long as he don't get caught, I don't think T.O. gonna have a complete game plan. Then they try to run the Eddie Renasso. They struggle with what y'all struggle with. See, Lomachenko was good for them in the sense that he came forward. Now, if you get a guy that's used angles and box like Shakur Stevenson, you can't just throw one or two big shots. He always gonna be in position to defend. You can't throw one or two big shots. You gotta use that jab and break them down. 3, 4, 5 shots, get over, step over. Woo. You know, a lot of them guys take 1, 2 shots. T.O.'s a 1-2 type of guy, not just in the sense of jab right hand, just 1 shot, 2 shots at a time. You get against a guy like Shakur, he got to go 3, 4, 5 shots, step over, pivot, boom, 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 boom. A guy that's always on defense, you got to overwhelm him. And when you do throw, you know, and this is where T.O. can win, and he's a great counterpuncher. When you do throw, you better throw with him. You better catch him while he's throwing. So while he mounting off it, and then guess what? It ain't gonna be that many opportunities to catch Shakur while he's throwing because he's so defensive. But if you gonna go with a secondary game plan, you better be prepared to throw with Shakur Stevenson, punch with him. But you know, I would say the main game plan is work the jab, and throw punches and bunches. Work the jab, focus on the body, bring them hands down, throw punches. Split that guard, uppercut, 3, 4, 5, 6 punches. So that would be my game plan, but I really think still a bad matchup for him. That's a terrible matchup. T.O. should get guys that come at him. Guys that's fleet of foot, that box and move. I just don't see him going through with this fight. I don't. So, you know, not this motherfucker then got over. Why? Why is you getting over, bro? Like, I just don't understand these semi-trucks, dog. Well, I get it. Maybe because they merging on. He don't want to be in the merge lane. I apologize. That's what I'm trying to think like he thinking. Man. But nonetheless, that's just my opinion, man. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Hit the link in the description. Follow me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Kick, Twitch, the whole nine. Peace.